Hey guys, it's Michael with 317 Pro Football Talk. Um, Here today, talk about Michael Pittman Jr. Um, I was pounding the table for this guy uh, during the whole draft process. I had him as top 4, 5, 6 receiver. I'd have to go back and actually look at where I had him ranked, but man, I was excited about this guy. Watching the draft process, I really thought he was getting slept on. They're in the early stages, heck, even going all the way up to as much as a week before the draft. Um, you had a lot of flashy names jumping out at you, people climbing the boards, kind of just leapfrogging them. I thought it really came down to three guys, especially over at the end of day one. Looking at T. Higgins, Denzel Mims, and our boy Michael Pittman Jr. Um, you know, all three of them had a little bit different strength. And honestly, still at this point in time, I wouldn't have been bad at either three, but I am still ecstatic we got Pittman. Um, you know, T. Higgins, I mean, he kind of tapered off there towards the end. I think that probably hurt him a little bit. I think if he would have stayed strong and had a really good playoff run there in the college football championship, that he probably could have creeped into the first round. That and the combine issues. I don't think he ran a 40. He had some sort of an issue. Yeah, I'm pretty confident it was a 40 he didn't run. And I think that kind of brought him down just a touch with stacked of a wide receiver class. I think if he would have came out in almost any other year, he was a surefire first round wide receiver. Um, Definitely a solid receiver. I don't think he was elite at really any one thing. Um, had good production. I mean, he did put up really good numbers against NFL caliber cornerbacks, week in and week out. He also had Trevor Lawrence thrown to him, so probably one of the best college quarterbacks I've seen in a long time, outside of Joe Burrow. I mean, if both Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence would have came out at the same time, I still think I would have taken Trevor Lawrence, but I digress. That's for another episode. But then we start talking about Denzel Mims. Um, I really saw him as kind of. I would have loved him with our second round pick prior to the pick of Pittman Jr. I didn't see him there at number 34. I think that he needed too much polishing in his game. Uh, Man, guy could fly, and he showed it there at the Senior Bowl. He showed it there at the Combine. Um, I think he was a player that kind of got overhyped there closer towards the draft, but I mean, decent hands. I think his biggest issue is that he went to Baylor. Um, they just had him running go routes. They did not really teach him how to run proper routes, and I think that ultimately is what really hurt him as well. Um, Phenomenal athlete. Seemed like he's got a really good head on his shoulders. I hope he does well in the NFL. But I think his biggest issue is definitely his route running and how much polishing he needed. But we talk about Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's a stud at a lot of different parts of the game. I think he's an exceptional route runner. I think he has amazing hands. I think he can win coverage. I mean, heck, he can throw a cornerback to the side if somebody's going to try to play press on him, and he can tear up a defense. Don't get him wrong. He may be a little bit slower, but he'll still tear up a defense and some DBs. But his issue is definitely he's a little bit slower, kind of a little bit stiffer, um, especially on his route running. But you know, I still think he was probably the most polished out of the three wide receivers as far as his game goes. I think all around it's hard to punch a lot of holes in his game. It was funny though because like after day one of the draft, I texted a buddy of mine. I was like, "Hey man, I think it's gonna be one of these three guys. Which one would you choose? We got, you know, person A who has played at a high level for a while, has been solid. Do you go with guy B, who is a super fast route runner but still needs a lot of polishing, or do you go with a guy who's been incredibly reliable and put up a lot of yards? Um, I think I actually think he decided on Denzel Mims, but I think I was all in on Pittman Jr. Dude, I think he is a. I was so happy whenever we drafted him. I was jumping up and down. Probably the most excited I've been about a draft pick in a while because I mean you go back last year, um, we traded back and we took Rocky Sin, and I like Rocky Sin, but I wasn't like, oh heck yeah, we got him. Um, I was actually kind of disappointed we didn't take A.J. Brown with that pick. And Paris Campbell, I wasn't that excited about. Ben Panagu. I mean, they're at that draft moment. I'm super happy we have him on team. I think sky's the limit for the kid. But I was like, what are we doing here? Year prior to that, Quentin Nelson, we already knew that one was going to come. Darius Leonard, who? And then how wrong were we all about that? So I hadn't had a player that I had gotten super, super pumped about since Ballard started. And uh, I think he's gonna do really, really well. But let's talk about what he did at the combine. Um, he 6'4", 223 pounds, if I recall correctly. Um, a vertical of 36 and a half inches, broad jump of 121 inches. Let's see here. He had, you know, a short shuttle of 4.14, which is actually, not an elite short shuttle, but it's, upper 80%. I mean, it was still good. Three cone shuttle at 6.9. Okay, it's a good one, not great. 4.5240, 20-yard split 2.68, which is a little bit rougher. Um, 10-yard split at 1.6. Um, let's see here. Which that all equals out to a 8.29 RAS score. For those of you that are unfamiliar, um, basically, if you look back on any of Chris Ballard's pick, they all have a really good relative athletic score, which is RAS. RAS is usually kind of goes short. Um, and he did pretty good. I believe. I don't think he was elite, but it was definitely good. He had elite size. Um, good on pretty much everything else. You definitely want to watch that. Look at that because that's going to show your athlete's explosiveness, and it usually does translate on the field. Um, but let's kind of talk about his stats there at USC. Um, his let's see here. His sophomore year, 23 receptions, 404 yards, 17.6, two touchdowns. Um, his junior year kind of really got bumped up. 41 catches, 758 yards, 18.5 average, and then six touchdowns. Okay, that's not bad by any means. But his senior year, he really came out and balled out. So he played 13 games, 101 receptions, 1,275 yards, 12.6 average, with 11 touchdowns. Um, and keep in mind, this guy was pretty well fighting for a roster spot the entire time because of the amount of competition USC was bringing in. And he always fought and fought and fought. And I think it really, really paid off on, with USC's kind of turnstile quarterbacks. They're in a senior season, especially. He was the go-to guy. I mean, you can just see him anytime short route, bam, it's to him, bam, him. Um, I think it's a weapon the Colts haven't had, and God, I can't remember the last large wide receiver that we had. I mean, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, they're all 6 foot. T.Y. Hilton's pretty short. Dante Moncrief, I think he was 6'2", and yeah, he panned out real well. Um, so we haven't had a reliable big-bodied wide receiver in a long time. And guys, I am ecstatic about this because I think you put him there in the bully slot, let him eat, let him pick on slot cornerbacks all day long, middle linebackers, let him go to town, or set him outside, throw a go ball, let him go up and grab that dude because his hands are phenomenal. I, in my personal opinion, he's got probably the best hands in the entire draft class. What was he had like 2 or 4 total drops in his I think the last 2 years or something like that. That's crazy, especially if the quarterbacks are throwing to him, man. I think he's an absolute weapon for Philip Rivers, Jacob Eason. We're not going to talk about that other guy. Uh, and I don't think he's going to put up 1,000 yards receiving this year. I don't think he's ever going to be a big yardage guy in the NFL. I think he's always going to be that sub 800 yards, but he's going to get close to that 10 touchdowns a year. I firmly believe in that. He's going to be a big red zone target. He's going to be your chain mover, a guy we definitely don't have on the roster right now. I mean, T.Y. Hilton, but I don't think he's just strictly a chain mover. I think it's a waste of talent to sit there and just do that to him. So I think it's going to free up T.Y. to actually ball out. And I think this takes off so much stress off of Paris Campbell. I think we can, if we're going to put Pittman out wide, put Paris in the slot, let Paris do what he was doing at Ohio State. Don't try to force him to be a number 2 wide receiver like we were kind of trying to last year. Let him thrive in what he knows and what he's good at. The guy's a former running back with track speed. Let him be able to do what he wants while we've got a reliable guy on the outside that's going to go up and get balls. Guy's work ethic, I love it. I love his work ethic. He's got such a cool, level head to me as well. I think he's going to be a good leader. Um, he's got his YouTube channel out there. He definitely puts some good content on there. I can't deny that. It's definitely very interesting to be able to see kind of what that NFL player's day-to-day life is, and seeing that he's working out Sam Darnold and players like that. It's really cool. Let's see here. And you know what? He's a team guy. Don't forget, he played special teams. That's how he stayed on the team in this first couple of years. He went out, he blocked punts, and he's returning kicks. I mean, the guy is a team first guy, a do it all. Coach goes out, tells him to do something, he's doing it, no questions asked. And I'm just so excited to finally have a guy like that. So yeah, I just can't wait for this guy to come out and be an absolute weapon for the Colts. Um, I think kind of sky's the limit for him. I think he could be a main staple for this team for the next coming years. Um, man, I'm pumped to finally see him play, and I'm so pumped for the Colts to finally have a legitimate big body outside jump up and grab that ball kind of a guy. I cannot wait. Um, but I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that normal stuff every single YouTuber in the whole world says. But if you would, drop a comment down below. Tell me who you want me to talk about. Overview. It doesn't matter. But anybody in the league, like we talk about any drafted prospects. That's really where my strong suit is right now. Is all the players from this past draft. I studied it so hard. So I don't care what team they went to. It could be the Patriots. I don't care. I'd love to talk about them. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.